Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, right.
As someone who's has to learn Spanish on their own because I spoke Portuguese, that was annoying. That's so annoying how every country, like I had a friend who was like from Colombia, and he's like, his mom would be talking to me like say platanos, which means like money, and it's like, and only in Colombia they say that. You ever
Plata?
heard of that? Plata, plata, yeah, yeah, plata.
Plata. Yeah,
Not
Platinums,
plata,
totally.
yeah.
not yeah, not platanos. What the fuck?
Plantains.
Platanos is bananas.
Yeah,
We're
I
saying
know, I know,
bananas.
Plantain.
I know, I
Banana is
know.
banano. Plantains is plátanos.
Right. And if you guys don't mind, we are live. I like to just kind of get things started. So we'll let some people get in here. I guess won't do like the main kind of topics till 9:30. So we get some little more people in here. But um, yeah, thank you for joining me tonight, Yo Mama's Chest Hair.
Oh, you're welcome.
First of all, what is the origin of that name?
The origin comes from Mean Girls, the movie, and when the goth girl responded to one of the guys that asked him about what her sweater was made of, her response was, "Your mama's chest hair," and so Your Mama's Chest Hair was born.
I love
And
that
that's the
movie.
origin.
That's a good ass movie. Why do some movies are like that? Some movies like they become like cult classics. Like I don't know. That is like a very funny movie. I haven't seen that in a long time, but I remember I like strongly like didn't want to see that movie, and then one time like my friend who plays baseball, who was like this jock, he was like, "You got to watch this movie," and I'm like, "Okay, okay," and then I watched it and I understood like why it's so like kind of classic, you know. So um, that's a pretty cool origin of your name. I know you were kind of taken aback. Basically, if you guys don't know, yeah. So we'll get into that first. So, what kind of? I know that I was able to message you through Twitter. You kind of got some notoriety through Twitter. Um, kind of explain to the audience where that came from. It came from a picture, right?
Yeah, we went to what is it? Elk. Oh my God, it's so hard to pronounce the name, but it was in Indiana. Trump came over, so we drove from Chicago all the way out there, and so I just when the rally was over, I called Jim Acosta from CNN. So I was like, "Holy shit, man! I'm in this world, right?" I'm like, "Hey, Jim, hey, how's it going?" And then he saw the Pepe, this one right here. He
That's
saw the
awesome.
Pepe, and I didn't know that he had this obsession with it. So I took a picture of him, and then he was like, "Can I take a picture of you too?" And I'm like, "Okay, screw it." So I posed, and I did my dark lips. I look
Oh
cute as hell.
yeah,
And he just put it up on Twitter. So I opened up my Twitter account for the first time just so I could respond to him, because I knew he wanted to make me look like a Nazi. Hey, who's the dog back there? Whose dog is
that's
that?
that's my freaking brother-in-law because I came from a Colombian restaurant. If you guys watch me on Snapchat, you'll see that. And I didn't get to. I ordered my food and I was like, man, I need to get home to start this and get ready. And I told him not to come to the door because I have a freaking dog who barks. And he came to the door and left it there. So, but he'll stop barking in a second, hopefully. Kurt, shut up. All right. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So you weren't selling that doll, right? It's just where'd you get that? Like, where can someone get that? Right.
I believe it's been sold out since it came out. My
Okay.
sister and brother-in-law got this frog for the inauguration, actually, because we went out there as well. So they got the Pepe, and they were pretty rare.
Okay.
So it's been to DC, it's been to Cleveland, and
Okay.
it's been to Indiana as well. So it's been awesome.
Where did you get the doll, by the way?
Oh, it was through Amazon.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Good old Amazon.
I'm kind of tempted to get one of those just because it's, for the meme.
yeah, they're sold
So
out. The no longer makes them unless he wants to start doing it again.
What's your, so speaking of Pepe, what's your kind of take where now, like, Pepe kind of became popular obviously during the election with, you know, the whole, you know, MAGA hats, Trump supporters, and then, like, you know, as many things in the media happen, like it was kind of demonized, and it's like, oh, this is a white supremacist symbol. So I think Hillary Clinton commented about it, other people have commented about it. Usually
Right.
people who are kind of intellectually lazy throw that out there as like, okay, like, no, like, obviously just because have this frog doesn't mean I believe in white
Did the
supremacy.
ADL say something about it? Didn't they like make it like a hate symbol or something?
Yeah, it was something so funny. I
They
mean,
did?
it's just a meme. A meme can be anything you want. You're basically
Right.
putting a little bit of truth in a meme, and it's supposed to be funny. So so it started all that way. I actually found out about the Pepe after the election. Um, then then suddenly we found out that it was being like a dark lord, and Hillary Clinton declared war on a stuffed Pepe, saying that we were all like cultists adoring this thing. So we're like, oh shoot, okay, yeah, I guess so. And we just were like, yeah, Pepe, Pepe.
Right.
But now it means a little bit more because I'm not sure how familiar you're with the story of Moses when he was trying to free the people from Egypt.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it
With
feels
the frogs, right? With the plagues.
right. It was one of the plagues, and now it's like, holy shit, is this a coincidence or what's going on? Because I don't know. It's just now
It's
we
pretty
kind
funny.
of identify as frogs, I guess.
Yeah.
So we're the plague that's gonna help Donald Trump free the people from the globalists. I know if you want to go deep into that.
Yeah, yeah. So you're a Mexican Trump supporter, right?
Well, yeah, Mexican descendants, but I was born here, partly raised in
Okay.
Mexico. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're actually American, but Mexican descent.
Right.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so I'm straight up immigrant. Like, I naturalized American, but I was born in Brazil. So, yeah, but I don't, you know, I don't know if you've seen my videos before, but, you know, I make videos where I basically say how, yeah, guys, I'm an immigrant and I made it here and I realized how great this country is. And you know, I got kind of tired of people online, especially during that 2016 era, 2017, people just like so upset that Donald Trump's the president. I'm like, guys, there's worse things out there. Trust me. There's a reason why people, and I know people who literally are, you know, they kill themselves to come to America. You know, this isn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's a big reality. Anyone who's kind of involved in, you know, knows immigrants or, you know, kind of in the Latin culture, people trying to come to America obviously know
Right.
the struggles. And that's kind of been a hot topic as well, in especially now with immigration and the whole, you know, like, now I just found out that that lady who like tried to climb the Statue of Liberty was like doing that because of, you know, kids being separated at the border, even though Trump signed the executive order.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. So it kind of blows my mind, but it is kind of an indicator of where we are in the media, where we are with the truth, right? So kind of how did you become like supportive of Trump, and, you know, kind of, you know, you going to his rallies and stuff? Because I mean, I always vote libertarian. Well, I will be honest, I did vote for Obama back, like, when I can first vote back in 2012. And I am still technically a registered Democrat, but I did vote as a libertarian in the last election because I didn't really, like, I didn't even know like Trump had, you know, was going to win. And like, when you looked at the media, and then when I saw Trump was winning, I was like, holy shit, like,
I
people are,
predicted that Hillary Clinton was gonna win, and I actually lost a bet to my friend. We bet a Snicker bar over who would win the election, and yeah, I had to pay for a Snicker bar.
right. Yeah, but basically, yeah. So how did you kind of like get involved, or like, I don't know if you want to share like any
Of course.
background, or yeah.
Well, I don't know what I will consider myself, first of all, just because since I'm from Chicago, everybody here is Democrat, and my family has always been Republican, which is also very odd, just because we're supposed to be Democrat automatically. But I always voted Republican because I do not support abortions, and I consider myself a Christian, a hypocritical one, but but I do believe in Jesus, or at least his message,
Right.
and that therefore I cannot vote for the Democratic Party just for that simple detail. They had other plans that I agree with, but overall that was a thing that I cannot approve of. So when Donald Trump came out with a speech, I saw it through Univision because that's the news I used to watch mainly,
Right.
and he came out and they made him seem like a monster, and I was like, holy shit, this guy it's another Hitler, and so I was a little bit concerned because just looking at Hillary, she gave me a really bad hunch. I cannot explain it, but it was just terrible. I was like, I don't know if I can vote for this woman. I wasn't even looking at the policies, but there was just something. And when I started seeing that everybody got attacked, everybody kept attacking Trump, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see for myself. And I started watching the debates, all of them, the Democratic debates and the Republican debates. The Republican debates were hilarious, by the
Yes, they
way.
were. They were really good.
Yeah. So I just kept watching it, and at that time I was dating my black boyfriend, and I was living with him at the time, and he would just like tell me to shut it down or not watch the debates, and I'm like, dude, this is important. And yeah, he will always just be a little bit I guess you can say mentally abusive, and I just kept
Okay.
on watching it. So then I confessed to him because I thought, since he's my boyfriend, he's my best friend too. So I confessed to him. I was like, you know what? I think I like Trump. And then he's like, what? How can you like him? You're a racist. And I'm
Oh
like,
man.
wait, what? I'm not a racist. I'm with you.
That's pretty funny.
I'm like, how am I a racist? And he's like, I don't know. You hate your own people. And I'm like, no, I don't hate my people. In fact, it's the opposite. And then
Wow.
he's like, well, you're a racist. And I'm like, can you prove it? And he's like, no. And he would just stop talking to me.
Oh
So
man.
I had to leave the relationship. Came to back to Chicago because I was in Iowa. I came back and I was still looking at it. It's still I voted for Trump with a hunch, just because I kind of believed his message, even though I was being confused by the media at the time. So after I voted for him, that's when I guess took the red pill like a month later.
That's pretty interesting. So, wow, yeah, I wasn't expecting that kind of bombshell. But it kind of shows you where it's like you're just saying like, "Hey, I think I like this guy's ideas." Just because you say that, people through the mainstream media, they've been trained to automatically be like, "Oh, well, you're this. If you like Trump, you're this, this, this." And it's like, "No, I didn't say that. I just
Right.
said, I just said that I like Trump." Like, do you want to talk about it? Like, no,
Right.
it goes to racism. I don't understand. I have had conversations about this, even though I didn't vote for Trump. It was just so annoying when the media was very dishonest. People in general, like people out there, like politics, anytime politics, I honestly don't even like to get it. I don't get into it in my personal life out there. Like I just talk about it with my family a little bit because my stepdad's kind of into it. But with anybody else, I don't really talk about it because now I really understand. Like when I was in school, people would say like, "Oh yeah, you don't say who you vote for," and I was like in like grade school, and I was like, "Why? Like that doesn't make sense." And then my friend was like, "Well, it's because people their perception can change of you," and I was like, "Oh really?" And I didn't really understand it at that time, but now with this whole Trump thing, I feel like I do understand it. And you're kind of young, so was this kind of like your first election?
No.
Okay.
I voted against Obama the last time.
So you voted for Romney.
Right.
Okay.
I voted Republican all the time, as I told you. I'm 25 years old, believe it or not.
Okay. Yeah, you look
So
younger.
yes, right, and I'm also very short, the big cheeks. I get it. um, but I mean, like I said, the only reason why I mainly vote for Republicans, which is also a very blinded way, is because they are against abortion. And I've been
Yeah.
surrounded by many women who've committed abortion. So I kind of try to give them another option, but in the end, it's their decision. But I've seen how they've changed dramatically, and
Right.
I don't only speak about spiritually, but psychologically as well. I mean, you don't need to be a lawyer to know the laws, just like you don't need to be a psychologist when you know that there's something wrong with somebody. So these women went from being themselves to worrying about the pregnancy, and then after they did the abortion, they just become like, it's not, it almost seems like they're trapped in a limbo where they're not being themselves anymore. And I don't know, this is probably not for all women, but
Of course, not all, of course.
right, but most of the ones that I've witnessed, they actually felt guilty, and it's just like they cannot forgive themselves, and that's why I'm also against it, because I believe it's a child, and because it kills a person's spirit and a person's uh, own personality.
Hmm.
It kills a person overall.
That's
That's
pretty.
just me.
No, yeah, I totally get it. I love your perspective, and it's from the heart, and that's what's, genuine. Because I feel like with some previous guests, we had right wing sister. She also talks about abortion, and abortion is kind of as actually one of the first streams I had here with Classy, where we disagree on abortion, where I'm totally against it. Because I believe it is a life. Life begins at conception, and back in the day, I didn't believe that. Back in the day, when I was 18 years old, and I actually voted for Obama, and I thought Mitt Romney was like a bad guy. Like, I was I was a liberal. No way, two ways about it. And then finally, I really started challenging my beliefs. Especially with abortion. Abortion was like, I had finally, when I had a friend who had committed multiple abortions, because girls, I feel like, are taught, like, it's like, oh, this is your right, and like this makes you powerful, and it's such a disgusting message, because
Right.
there's so, as you've seen, I mean, you have your own anecdotal experience. I have my experience with my friend, where it's like, no, there's some severe psychological effects that it has on young women. And I did participate in a campaign for anti-abortion, where there's a women's group that actually supports adoption of kids, and kind of is basically trying to get the message out there, like, hey, like, abortion is not the final answer. At the end of the day, like, there's adoption, like, there's resources out there. And I would speak to the older women, and I was like, they would say, a lot of these older women, yeah, they did have abortions younger, and then they just severely regretted it, and they really felt like, my friend, she would tell stories of that she would have dreams of, potential, I guess, the fetuses or the children she was supposed to have, and she felt like they were calling her in these dreams. And that's,
Oh my God.
and then I looked it up, and that's something very common. Like, a lot of women have, dreams of like potential, like, kids they were supposed to have and stuff after they aborted
So
it.
terrible.
Right. And I finally kind of just, it really locked in place. And part of me too, having those beliefs, is kind of, I was like, I would consider myself an atheist, and I was like, this is all about science. And Richard Dawkins, infamously, who's Richard Dawkins, for people who don't know, is like, very famous atheist. He would tweet things out like, oh, like, a pig's fetus is the same as a human fetus, and like, I don't know, like, when I really start to think about it, because a lot of people don't think about it, when you really start to think about it, it's like, just because they're 9 months and they like are birthed, that's when you consider it a human. Because you wouldn't want to kill you a lot, most when you really pin them down, people who believe in abortion.
No,
like,
but look, they're also accepting on up to 9 months, and that's what's the crazy part. Like I said, I'm against abortion, but at least I don't know, just don't. I think that 8 months, I mean 7, 8, and 9 months, that's too much. For me, that's just way too much. I think
Right.
mainly the abortion thing goes on because of society. Personally, I don't mean to attack anybody, but in reality, I don't support single motherhood because I believe that's also a problem. But I'd rather them be single mothers than abort the child, so they won't be as damaged.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
No, of course, that totally makes sense. I mean, you know, I fight for the same things. I talk about the same things. Only later, as I got older, I realized that traditionalism is important. All the issues people have out there, whether it's poverty, they're not successful in life,
Mm-hmm.
usually it's traced back to not having a stable mother and father in the home. And,
Right.
and even Obama himself said this, where it's like, oh, if you want to be successful, you know, he in one of his speeches he said, you know, if you want to be successful, you know, graduate high school, don't have kids before this age, or like until you're like have your job, and you know, have a mother and father in the household, and that's how you'll be successful. And you know, that's Obama saying that. But now you have you have different changing narratives. Abortion is the big one, where it's like what really got me, what really kind of flipped the switch for me, is when they would interview these feminists at these like marches, and they would literally have like pins on their sweater of like how many abortions they had, and they were like proud of it because each one was like showing that like, oh yeah, this is how free I am, like I control my body. And it's like, all
That's
right.
not real freedom. I mean, if you really think about it, women have real freedom by not being drafted after having the right to vote. So I don't know what type of freedom they're talking about. We can pretty much do anything. Women and men,
Right.
we're different, and there's really nothing wrong with it. I don't know why it's like a competition for this feminist. There's nothing wrong because in the end we complete each other. I believe
Right.
it's a woman and a man, but if you want to do your own same sex, that's fine too. But I believe a woman and a man, the man has what the woman doesn't have, and the woman has what the man doesn't have, and together they can make it. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely and feel free to jump in, Classy, if you want if you have something to say, by the way. It's definitely obvious with you know, you have feminists. Basically, the culture is kind of changing, and you can attest to this, where, you know, feminine, like things are kind of changing. Like people want to feminize women, and like, oh, a woman can do everything a man can do, and we're tough and we can do this, and you know, we want to be in these positions. And then they're kind of feminizing men because everything is like kind of gender neutral, and it's like men can be this and be that.
I'm sorry, I cannot. I cannot date an emotional man. I mean, I'll date an awesome dude that likes to listen and, you know, just give me a logical point of view, because I know myself where I can get in my emotions. I let my emotions get to me, and it kind of prevents my logic to help me out a little bit. So sometimes I ask my boyfriend, hey, dude, how does this sound? He's like, well, this perspective is this way, and blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. We
Right.
need
Not to
each other,
mention,
and that's fine. I'm sorry?
I just want to say that sensitive men can be pussy sometimes. Like, I'm serious. Like, some of them can be easily
Yes,
manipulated by women. Some of
right.
them.
Right. Right. And that's the thing too, where they're sending this message where it's like men should be this and that, and then men men are having problems getting with women, and there's incels, people who are
Right.
angry at women, and they feel like women owe them something. And it's like, you know, guys, like if you want to get a woman, like, you know, there are certain things, like, you know, there's so many resources out there, and it's not the message that they're trying to tell, you know, like most the female, like they don't want to date a male, like a male feminist.
Wait, they
Usually,
don't? Oh my god.
No, those women are miserable and they just want to control. That's all they want. So if they get to control you, you're boring to them now, and they're gonna replace you easily. I
Right.
like my man manly. I want him to be my leader. It's not that I want to be controlled, but I want to be his vice president. You know, because like I said, we're a team. But I want him to be stable, help me out when I'm unstable, and then when we can create stable children.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just a
Yeah.
little bit logical to me, no?
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because someone can watch and listen to what you just said and say, "Oh my God, like you're like you want to be submissive to a man." And that's why you have these feminists who are like they honestly just want a power trip and they want to take kind of the role of a man and like control their partner, and then they get unhappy and then they go out and are miserable like you're saying, and it's like, maybe it's because you're trying to play a role that you're not meant to play. The same way a male shouldn't play the feminine role, you know. And when it comes to men and women, it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, females can do anything males can do, and it's like, no, there's certain things that men can do that females can do, but obviously there's some things that females can do that males can do. Like you said, we're supposed to complement each other. It's kind of we're supposed to fit together as a puzzle piece, as a stable unit. Right. Yeah, and it's amazing that you say that. What would you say though? So speaking of Trump, like, you know, and you're saying, you know, we're saying here we're Christian conservative, and I mean, at least I'm saying that. But people maybe will criticize Trump saying, hey, you know, just to play devil's advocate, Obama, you know, if he would have done all the things Trump has done with having multiple wives and kind of being like a ladies' man, he would have been criticized to all ends, and Trump kind of gets to get away with it. Excuse me. Trump gets to get away with it, and then they call him sexist. He's a womanizer. What's kind of your response to that?
Listen, that's their personal life. I just want them to do good for the country. I don't care about your life personally, you. I don't care about classy liberal. I care about me, and I'm not gonna be involved in anybody's life. But if they are in politics, they should be working for the people, and that's all I care about. But if you're gonna be breaking laws, come on, dude. Yeah. I'm not paying you for that. And I know that people want to criticize Trump about being a womanizer and whatnot.
Right.
You know what? First of all, like I said, that's his life. He's doing good so far. I believe he's doing so good with the country so far. And I do believe that he was picked by God just because of all the signs that have been going on. And people tell me, how can you say that he's been picked by God if he's been having multiple women? And I said, well, that's true, but St. Francis de Sales, he was also a sinner. We can be sinners, but once we realize what we've done wrong, then we all have a chance to redeem ourselves. Every single person can change their lives whenever the hell they want to. Sure. So far, this guy has dirt from like a decade ago. So, okay, yeah, it was shitty. I will hate that my husband will talk like that, but I have 6 brothers. Okay, we're total 10, right? We grew up in a home where it was packed, typical Mexicans, sharing rooms, and all this stuff, all bunched up in the truck. So I grew up with 6 brothers, and they were talking very dirty, okay? And I know how men talk. I hated it, but I mean, men were built kind of like that. They kind of think about reproducing most of the time. So they talk like that between men. And that was a private conversation with Donald Trump. So if somebody was recording them, then it's on them. Like I said, I don't approve of that, the way they were speaking. Right. But hey, you want to know a secret? I talk like that too about men. I mean, I think about men. I like it. I like men. I love men. So I talk like that too, and privately. But if somebody records me, then they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, this bitch."
Yeah, right.
So that's just Like I said, this is just my opinion. I want them to do good for the country, and that's all that matters in the end.
Right. And yeah, and I do think he's, he's doing a good job, and he's having to dodge constant, like, the media just does everything. They lie, they manipulate, they make you think they do things on purpose to kind of manipulate, and it's obvious, and I feel like that hurts their cause, and I feel like that's why he's going to get reelected, because something, I guess, which can kind of go off the point you were saying about, people just being open with what they say, is that when Donald Trump came along, something I did see, it was like a lot of these politicians, they have kind of this fakeness where it's like, this moral superiority, like, oh, we're going to criticize everyone that does this, and like, oh, how dare you, and you would see that with Hillary. I mean, I had someone, actually, because I am a registered Democrat, I literally had someone knock on my door on my apartment and ask me, like, are you going to vote for Hillary? Like, we need to vote for Hillary because we need to have the first woman president. And I was God. Yeah, she said that. And I was like, you know what? I'm from Brazil, so we already had a woman president there. She was pretty bad, and I'm not saying she was bad because she was a woman president, but she kind of got in because of that, like, oh, we want the first woman president, and she's very corrupt. That's why with me, it's like I'm super, like, I don't trust the government. Like, I don't like the government, because eventually the bigger they get, the more corrupt they get. And when it comes to corrupt governments, that's a trend that follows in a lot of Latin American countries. So I told her, like, yeah, I mean, that doesn't mean a big deal to me. Also, what is the strength of your candidate if the first thing you're telling me is like, oh yeah, vote for her because she's a woman? Like, if that's the very first thing you're telling me, that like is a red flag to me. And she's like,
you don't even know the policies. You just know the gender.
Exactly.
Right? It's so insane how people would vote like that just because of the superficial stuff.
Right. And that's what kind of Trump, he kind of like put it like on, like, I don't know what expression I can say, but he kind of just turned the tables, because he just came out there and it's like, yeah, I'm the fucking billionaire. I've been balling since a long time. I don't have to do this, but I'm here. I'm gonna speak how I want. Yeah, you guys are gonna be like clutching your pearls, but I'm here to win. And I feel like that really resonated with people. And you'll still ask people now, the reason why he gets away with anything, even if he maybe sometimes legitimately should be criticized, the reason he gets away with it is because the media is so dishonest and they pick apart everything he says. So most people who are out there now, you interview them and they're like, you know what, I just like him because he says what's on his mind. Because people are so sick of, like, the phoniness and the fake moral posturing, with the Democrats and with the liberals. They think of the children, and oh my God, we're for the children, we're for like, we think what's good for you, so we're the good guys. And it's like, yeah, no, but you guys are killing babies with abortion. That's what really, everything is hypocritical with me when it comes to the other side. And that's why I kind of, I'm not a Republican, like I said, I'm a libertarian. I just firmly believe that since we live in America, you literally, doesn't matter your skin color or your circumstance, like, we have opportunity. And then you like, look at Barack Obama, even if you don't like his politics, he was from a single mother. Like, his dad wasn't in his life that much, and studied his ass off, went through the ringer, and he's a success story, and he's a rags to riches story. And there's many people with that rags to riches story. So, and this is, I guess this can we can start with our first video of tonight. I'm going to screen share real quick here. This is kind of like the Donald Trump I like. Do you know who Ric Flair is?
No.
You don't know who Ric Flair? Okay. So I'm just unplugging my headphones here. Ric Flair, he's kind of like, he's a wrestler. He's like a very famous wrestler. When I see Trump like this, that's why I see why people like him and want to resonate with him, because he reminds me of like a WWE wrestler sometimes, and he was in the WWE.
Yeah, he was in the WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't know.
Yeah. So like, this is just a quick little clip I want to play. Like, this is like one of my favorite Trump clips of all time. And this was back in 2011, by the way. This wasn't during like a recent campaign. Yeah.
Somebody said, well, what would you do? What can you do? So easy. I drop a 25% tax on China. And you know, I said to somebody that is really the messenger. The messenger is important. I could have one man say, we're going to tax you 25%. And I could say another, listen, you motherfuckers, we're going to tax you 25%.
It's that fucking money.
Exact thing. You said the same exact thing, but it's a different message.
So that's an example of like, yeah, like why I kind of get on board. It's like, oh yeah, he's this, he's that. I see that shit. Like, just look up Ric Flair. I guess you don't know Ric Flair. You weren't really into wrestling, like with being Mexican or anything.
I think she's into like lucha libre. I don't know.
No, I used to watch wrestling when I came from Mexico, which was second, third, and fourth grade.
Right.
So I know I didn't know English, but I thought it was real.
Right.
And I mean, that's all I remember. It's back when it was WWF. Yeah.
Right. So this is Ric Flair. I'm gonna just share this because this is a pretty funny video we can watch on stream. Basically,
get ready.
This is who I basically got reminded of when I saw Trump.
Oh God.
We are on tour and we're doing it better than anybody else alive. Now, Buddy Landell, it's so hard for me to sit back here in this studio looking at a guy out here hollering my name when last year I spent more money on spilt liquor in bars from one side of this world to the other than you made. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing.
Oh shit, this guy is full of high energy.
This guy is Donald Trump's personal trainer, man.
Yeah.
No, Ric Flair is a freaking
This
legend.
guy's on coke or something. What's wrong with him?
No, he's just he's just that personality. He's like he's kind of like that gangster, just like, I'm here, I'm about it, I'm rich, I got all the girls on me. Yeah, you hate me, I know you guys.
You want to be me?
Yeah, you want to be me. He has that like flamboyant personality, and it really reminds me of Trump. And that's why I don't understand. I mean, I talked about this in other times as well on the stream with some other guests, where it's like, Trump, he wasn't being called racist before he went to run as during the election, because
in fact, this guy was being praised by people like what's his dude name, Jesse Jackson and stuff, for like contributing to the black community.
Yeah, you can find.
I mean, his father was racist. Let's be honest.
You can find videos.
Hey, dude, my father is racist. But I still dated a black guy, so I don't care. My dad is another thing. I'm another.
Sure. It's like in that whole point of too, with the dad being a racist thing, with like the thing back in the day, it's like you see how you're kind of like sifting through so much stuff, because you can find, there's a video out there, I guess, we won't watch it, but there's a video where they're like interviewing like Ice Cube, Shaquille O'Neal, and they're like, yep, Donald Trump, like he's everything. And even in the black culture is kind of like that. And even in Latin culture, it is kind of like that machismo, like, look at me, like I'm, kind of just taking control. And especially with rappers, like you had Meek Mill and all these rappers, they would reference Trump in their tracks because he's kind of like a real life Scarface. Like he's kind of like a gangster. I mean, at least that's how I see it. So
yeah, he has that fuck you money.
Right, exactly. And that's where it's like, he's in the election. It's like, yeah, he's not doing this for money, guys. Like he has all the money in the world. He's like 70 years old, but he's still there, vibrant and like, doing the damn thing.
Yeah, he's only getting paid $1. The rest he's donating it. Isn't it crazy? I was like, oh my God, it's so awesome.
Right.
And people still don't believe him that he's doing this as a hobby.
Right. But just to keep on schedule here, something that we were talking about as well is that you were talking about how because of your affiliation and because of your kind of little mini notoriety, I mean, you obviously have the story with your boyfriend or ex-boyfriend, but you were mentioning to me that you were getting a lot of messages on Facebook from people about maybe, because of what you've become. Do you want to elaborate a little bit about on that?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, how do I start with this?
Yeah, I mean, if there's something you don't want to talk about, obviously just
It's a little bit, I wouldn't say embarrassing just because I don't regret it. I feel like it changed my life. At first it was scary, but and in the end everything worked out right, and it helped me grow. So what happened is this whole incident happened in January 20th of this year, which is not only the anniversary of Trump becoming president, but also it was the government shutdown.
Mm.
And what happened was, how do you say this? At that time, I still hadn't gotten rid of my anger. It was maybe in March when I finally got rid of my anger. So, and during that time, I was still on Facebook posting every single day, like, this is the truth and blah, blah, blah. People don't like the truth. They don't want the truth. So there I was, like a dumbass, every single day for a past year, just putting stuff about Trump and the facts and updating people on the news and all this fun stuff, talking good about Mexicans, saying that we're probably like pit bulls, that we're mixed. We're not an original breed, but we're mixed, and that's why we're also stronger. And we have that diversity in us that helps us have multiple talents. So I was always putting not only the truth about what was going on in the mainstream media, but I was also trying to encourage the Mexican community to wake up, because I feel they're still trapped, majority of them.
Right.
So I would say this, but then when the government shutdown happened in January 20th of 2018, like I said, I was an angry person at the time. So I put up this post. I was a little bit blacked out, I guess you can say.
Okay.
So I put up this post that ICE was offering $500 per person that is reported to them. So I said, if the Dreamers don't start, sending a message to the government to get the government going again, then I'm going to deport your parents. So.
Oh wow.
So I live in a mostly Mexican community, so that wasn't the smartest thing to do. See, because back in the day, I was more like, you know what, I can say whatever the hell I want. Freedom of speech. So I would say everything and anything because I can. So my words got me a little bit in trouble. Not only that, but I couldn't control my anger at the time. And this post went viral. Okay. So mainly the Dreamers, they were the ones sharing this post and saying that they hope that the gangbangers come to my house and hurt my family or hurt me, or I hope that I get harassed in the streets.
Wow.
They did go to my brother's house. They were circulating because that's where I used to live.
Yeah.
In one of the old houses back in South Chicago. South Chicago.
Chicago.
I call it South Chicago because it's pretty ghetto out there. But we moved out of there a few years ago. So they went to my old house. My brother still lives up there, so they were kind of stalking him. And also my niece, they were harassing her at work, and some of my brothers had to go up to the gangbangers and tell them to leave me alone. And whatever. The funny
Right.
part is, the funny part about all this is that the dreamers were willing to make these gangbangers their heroes as long as they hurt me or my family. So that's why I asked you, what does your title mean? Because I've had a bad experience with dreamers.
I
Um,
understand. Yeah.
but the funny part is that one of my cousins, who happens to be, oh, I'm sorry. Before I go to that part, yeah, I started getting harassed on internet. So I had to shut down my Facebook. I had to shut down all my social media. Just completely isolate myself from this. I didn't really lose anybody just because I've always been a loner, because I like to find out who I am. I like to explore
Right.
myself as in what talents do I have. So I've always been a bit of a loner, and this is why I also like reading news. But and I like to find out, like I said,
Right.
what I can do. So, anyways, so one of my cousins who happens to be a dreamer,
Mm.
he found out about this, but since I've already been red pilling him, he kind of understood this, and we're pretty cool. I just wrote an article about him, by the way. So even people will go up to him and
Where can
harass
people
him.
where can people check that out?
I think I'm gonna post it up today.
Okay.
Yeah, because I just sent it to the lady from Populous Wire, the one that wrote the story about me.
Okay.
Yeah, so they gave me an opportunity to be a guest writer, and I wrote about him. He also tried to defend me, by the way. They were telling him, don't hang out with her because she wants you deported. And I'm like,
Wow.
I'm like, dude, you know the truth. And then he's like, and then he told me, I already know you. I know that you can just say stuff because you want to. So people who are close to me know how I am, that I can just say anything. By the way, so this thing went viral. People were asking for my death, whatever.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, I got a little bit creepy to the point where even my dad had to sleep with a gun. And
Wow.
so yeah, after that, like
Yeah.
I said, I had to find myself, got rid of my anger. I made an apology video that went viral right away, which was crazy. But I still had to shut down my Facebook just because my brothers and sisters asked me to. And they've asked me this before, and I kind of disobeyed them. And I feel like now I have to shut this down because I involved them. And
Right.
that was not my intention in the first
Mhm.
place, because I'm the one doing this. They have nothing to do with it. Some
Right.
of them didn't even vote. Some of them vote for Hillary.
Right.
So, but in the end, I didn't mean to involve them, and it just got very ugly.
Right. And that's why I'm very careful too, like, you know,
Right,
with my name and, you know, with your nickname and everything. Obviously, we're living in a pretty crazy time, especially with social media. You got to be very careful what you put out there. And you know, even people in public now, you know, hopefully we'll get time to watch it, but you know, now if you act out and if you act a fool and you're racist or you're hateful or something, like, yeah, there's the freedom of speech and you can do whatever you want technically, but
hmm
now we have the court of public opinion because of social media. When something happens and there's like a lack of justice, or maybe some people, they go after people for the wrong reasons, but you know, with social media, it's so powerful now. What happens? I've talked about this subject on previous streams as well, and it seems to, the reason why I make my videos and the reason why, you know, I hold conversations like this too, is because conservatives, they are kind of being attacked out there. You know, they're, you know, if you're right wing, it's because you're racist, and it's like,
we
no,
just want Lower Texas.
yeah, it's like, do you know where I'm from? Like, I grew up in a Latin and Black neighborhood, and you know, I'm the furthest thing from racist. And you know, they've programmed people to automatically think that. That's why with your ex-boyfriend, it's like, oh, you like Trump? Oh, that means you're racist. And even though you're in a relationship with him, like, he will still say that because it's like this 1984 stuff where
Right.
they're taught something, and then, oh, you like Trump? Oh, and then it's like, just they spit out what they're supposed to think. Like, they don't logically think about things. And I guess let me see if we can watch this. But that, yeah, that's pretty crazy about your story, and that's why you have to be careful. And this is kind of something. One of our first current events is this. I'm sure, like I said, I think you tweeted about this, and people have seen this. But there's a guy. This kind of went viral. I guess we'll play it here.
For the president. You ain't supporting shit, nigga. Bitch ass motherfucker. Okay. It's gonna go great in my fucking fireplace, bitch. All right, have fun with it.
Yeah, so that I'm not sure when it happened, but
On the 4th of July.
Oh, really? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the irony, man.
And I actually wore my MAGA hat on 4th of July. I didn't give 2 fucks. But yeah, that's terrible. I mean, you're allowed to disagree with anybody you want to. What's wrong with people doing whatever you don't want? You know what?
Oh,
if
yeah.
if I see a Nazi with their swastika, I honestly wouldn't give a shit. That's up to them, and it's not because I sympathize with the Nazis. It's just simply, you know what? They want to be ignorant. They want to be in their bubble, hating the world with not having perfect peace. Then they can go ahead. They want to be in Black Lives Matter. They want to be angry at the white man for whatever reason because a Chinese lady didn't do the design in your acrylic nails the way you wanted to. So now it's the white man's fault. I don't know. It's just so stupid. We should be responsible for ourselves. And one thing I realized is that now that I got rid of my anger, it's everything is so laughable, and you don't get emotional. And it's so funny because I'm not sure if you're familiar with Jesse Lee Peterson.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So I was watching him a lot, and I was like, forgiving your parents, that's so silly. So I went up to them and I forgave them and asked them for forgiveness as well for resenting them. And little by little, I saw the changes in me. It's just like I feel like there's nothing that I cannot accomplish. I'm starting my own business, and I don't even feel like it's stressful. I'm enjoying this. I wake up, do what I gotta do, and
That's awesome.
I'm just happy.
That's a good attitude to have.
That's awesome. And yeah, you're talking about getting rid of your anger, shouting out Jesse Lee Peterson. He talks about that, how people will say like, oh, he hates black people and he hates women or something. And no, I mean, I took the same route as well. I mean, I've been through some pretty bad things in my life as well. And now that I've learned to just forgive everyone in my life, like I always say, like I have no enemies. Like anyone who's my enemy, I will pray for them. I will.
Even Hi, I Think I'm Real.
No, man, he's not my enemy. Like this is just some WWE shit, you know.
Yeah, MMA.
With Hi, I Think I'm Real, it's like he doesn't, the things we're talking about, you know, he's not going to talk about that. That's why I call him a fake conservative, because, you know, there's certain values that you want to adhere to, and I just learned that if those certain values, if you adhere to it, you're going to be successful in your life. You're going to, you know, like you're opening your own business. Like that's awesome. Like I have experience as well with, you know, doing my own business as well. And, you know, it's very scary and fearful, but you want to stretch yourself, and you have the right attitude where it's like, you believe you can do anything. And when you have that attitude, you know, I'm someone who, I lost my father. He died from cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you know, it's okay. I just feel like I took that time. It was kind of like a journey that I went through where I learned that, like, I kind of took the attitude where it's like, you know what, everything happens for a reason, no matter how shitty it may seem sometimes. Maybe I had that experience because I was supposed to grow and I was supposed to learn. And because that happened, I had to become a man real quick. And I had to I had to literally transform myself and grow up like way faster. Right. And it's a lot of these values that you talk about too, with getting rid of your anger. Like there's so many angry people out there. And that's why, you know, when it comes to like abortion, when it comes to feminism, like you have these feminists and usually like people who are involved with that, it's because they're disenfranchised and they have daddy issues, and they have,
Mhm.
I have two aunts that Jesse Lee Peterson, I don't know if he brings this up or someone else said this. I think it might even been Jordan Peterson. He talks about how some women, like, the way they're treated by their dad, or maybe sometimes older brothers, but usually it's like a dad or an uncle or like a father figure, like they'll have those like like crazy memories implanted in their head. So now, I mean, I hopefully I'm not throwing my aunt under the bus here, and I'm just kind of anonymous right now, but like she would say things like, "Oh, my husband, I can never serve him a plate of food because, or I can never serve him a glass of water." Like she psychologically can't do it. She won't like
Why is
do it.
that?
And I'll explain, because she grew up with my grandpa, which was her dad, who was very, machismo, sexist, very like talk to his wife like any way he wanted. And because she saw that as a little girl growing up, then that gave issues with her relationships, which, she's happily married and everything, and we're all imperfect. We all have flaws. I'm bringing this up as just an example, as a lot of these feminists out there, like I said, they have issues with men, they have issues with relationships. And I've gone through something where, like, there's a lot of MGTOW out there. There's these people like, what, women's,
These stupid idiots.
yeah, MGTOW, they hate women. They think women are the worst of the worst.
No, they're
And
just a male version of feminists, though. Like
Right. It's just a reaction, right?
there's
right.
such a like negative view of women. Maybe because they had like bad experiences with women. I don't know. I can't speak for all these people,
I mean,
though.
usually it is because of bad experiences,
Sure.
but they will point to things like, oh, a woman, all she's there is just to, to steal money from you. They make it
Yeah.
very like monetary. Like if you go on the
Gold
MGTOW,
diggers.
yeah, well, they think women are there just to kind of exploit men. And if you go to the MGTOW subreddit, they will post pictures of like, oh, I just got this boat, or I just got this car. Couldn't have done it if I had a wife or if I had a girlfriend.
Come
And
on.
They're so
It's
miserable.
ridiculous.
yeah,
Like, I don't know what's worse, radical feminist or the MGTOW community. Like, these are both two groups that are so unhappy with their lives. They have such a negative view of the opposite sex, and
right.
it's sad. It's really sad.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. And even though like I've been through, I had a breakup and a relationship issues that went pretty sour. I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm never going to get married, or I'm never going to be with a woman again because, they're too crazy, or, I hate women. And it's exactly what you're saying. Like, yeah, being in a relationship, as someone who was married before, being in a relationship and living with someone of the opposite sex, we're completely different creatures. We have to get used to each other. There's things that we're not gonna be on the same page every day. We got to learn how to deal with each other, and that is a sacrifice. Now that I'm single, and I'm trying to stay single, you have a little more freedom, and you kind of just have to worry about yourself and everything. But if I want to be in a relationship, not only is it's not just me being in a relationship, I can't just think about myself. There is sacrifice involved. You have to learn how to deal with your partner and everything. And I feel like it's all for the best. A MGTOW will look at that and say, you see, like, women, like, they're just going to age you, they're going to drain you. And it's like, no, like, you'd rather just, okay, you have a whole bunch of money and you want to just live alone. Like, I've seen people who have gone that route and they don't usually end up happy. Money doesn't buy you happiness. And so I definitely understand that. I want to have a girlfriend, eventually a wife again, because I feel like that complements me. Just the same way I'm sure you feel like a meaningful relationship with a partner would complement you. And those are kind of things that people are kind of forgetting about nowadays. Honestly, it's kind of like a reoccurring thing.
Yeah, you have to share similar values with the person that you want to share your life with. Otherwise, it's never going to work out. So if you don't have similar beliefs, it's not going to, like I said, I knew I wasn't gonna last with the black guy just because um, I was more talking to him about religion, and he was moving towards atheism, and it was something where we couldn't find common ground. And he just, I don't know, maybe because of the home where he grew up in, he didn't know much how a relationship should work, and therefore he didn't know how to treat me. So I mean, I also had issues with my family. I mean, my parents are old school parents where they have to stay married forever. So I grew up believing that marriage is something, a bond that it's forever. So you have to be extra careful who you pick to go through this journey. And it's
Right.
been very tough because my dad was not the best male figure that I wanted. But like I said, as soon as I got rid of my anger, I was able to see what was exactly that I was looking for. And that's how I found my boyfriend. And we understand each other so well. And I believe I finally feel like this guy is the one because, like I said, I don't have the anger. I don't resent men. I used to treat men terribly. And it's not because I mean, I had the same beliefs I have now, but since I was an angry person, I was mistreating my other boyfriends. But now that I have no anger, I can treat this man as a man, and I want him to be a man and know how to lead me. Although I still want to be an entrepreneur, you know.
Right.
But like I said,
That's awesome.
we find a balance, and like I said, we support each other's ideas. We don't get in each other's way. We want just the best for each other, and that's like I said, that's what a relationship should be.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a firm believer that, like, the relationship I want to have, and most people should want to have, is you're finding someone to complement you. Um, you're finding someone to compliment you. I feel like I'm Jay-Z. I need to find my Beyonce. Or whatever analogy. I'm Clyde. I need my Bonnie, so we can be partners.
Oh
in
God,
crime.
no.
Yeah, yeah. So and that's just an example of how I like to see it, and why I do believe in something that you've reiterated about having the man and the woman in the nuclear core, and how important that is, and how that is going to produce the best thing, the best outcome for kids and everything. But that's that's a very beautiful thing too, by the way, about the whole anger thing. I dealt with many things as well, and I started something that really helped me is jogging, exercise. When you start jogging, like I've gotten into, like, literally, like, I want to run a marathon in November.
Yeah, total endorphins.
Yeah, you get that runner's high, and you're just happier. Like, every time you work out or you go for a run, you feel energized, you feel like happy, like you're just in a better mood. And there's many things out there you can do to help you get in a better mood. There's so many people that are out there miserable. Just to kind of wrap up this point, one time I had a client at my job, and at all times you try to avoid politics, right? But sometimes some clients they'll want to talk about it, and it just comes up, and I hate it. It's something, honestly, when it comes up, my heart starts beating, because I don't really want to say the truth. I'm honest. Like, I will hurt people's feelings, because
No, that's true.
yeah, because they think, like, oh, you're Latino, you're Brazilian, you're this, you're that, so you must believe this. And I've gotten arguments with my family and things, and that's why I try to avoid it. It's something, honestly, I'd rather not talk about. But I was in this situation where I think, like, we were talking about, like, she was talking about Trump, and she's like, oh, this country is so bad. This country is, going down in the hellhole. It's, everything's bad. Oh my God, our president's so bad. Like, what do you think, right? You're not a Trump supporter, right? She asked me just like that. Yeah, exactly. She asked me just like that. And in my head, I'm thinking, like, you know what? I'm not a Trump supporter, but what if I said yes? Like, what would your reaction be?
Right.
So this is what I said. I said, you know what? And this is the truth. I said, I didn't vote for him, but I am an immigrant. I came from Brazil, and I know how much our government fucking sucks. I mean, I go back to Brazil to visit. My family still lives there. A lot of my family still lives there. They tell me how much it sucks, and that's why some of them moved here.
Didn't you guys have a purge recently?
Yeah, in 2014, basically we had like there were, and that's the power of social media. Because of social media, there was these recordings that came out of the Brazilian president, basically confirming this corruption that she was involved with the former president, and it basically was kind of a nail in the coffin. There was people protesting in the streets, and they basically cleared out everyone in the government, and it's still not to the best of its how it should be. But basically, they were trying to turn into like a socialist government. And what happens in a socialist government? All the money that the people are getting taxed. You know, if you're rich in Brazil, you're taxed so much. You know, so all the money goes to where? It goes to the government, so they can try, and so they, you know, they know what to do with it. And it goes in the pockets of the politicians, and that's what was confirmed in 2014. So I was talking to her, and I was like, you know what? I come from, you know, I have the privilege of living here, and there's no crime. Like, I'm able to go to the gas station and on a Saturday and fill up my gas tank, go inside, get a drink, get some candy, and I don't have to worry about looking over my shoulder. I have someone who also is trying to immigrate to Brazil because he can't handle the crime anymore. The crime sucks. And I told her this. I was like, so you know what? We actually live in the greatest country. You know, maybe you don't like the president, but we're allowed to live in a country that we don't have to like the president. There's other countries, you know, Middle Eastern countries, the Philippines, a lot of Asian countries, they'll have a royal family. And if you criticize the royal family, you can be thrown in jail. So that's why I told her, like, you have these people here, they can say, fuck Donald Trump. They'll have piñatas of Donald Trump. And
yeah, isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, and it's like, go for it. That's what America is all about, is that you're allowed to do that. We live in the greatest country ever because because we're so free. I mean, people say, oh, we're not truly free. This is as free as you can get, you know? And I told her this, and she basically was like speechless because she had nothing to say. It's like, yeah, you've been brainwashed by the media just to say everything's bad, everything's bad. No, in actuality, everything's good. We should people should be more grateful, and that's something too. When you talk about getting rid of anger, people aren't really show gratitude anymore. I feel like, you know, something that I've learned to do to help my mood and help my well-being, help my professional. It's helped me in my career. It's helped me in my personal life. Is every morning I think about like 3 things I'm grateful for. Sometimes it could be I'm grateful for having a pair of Jordans that I like, but another time it could be I'm grateful that I have running clean water that other people don't have. I'm grateful for air conditioning, because I came from a neighborhood in Brazil that, I mean, it's very common in Brazil that we don't have air conditioning, even though it's one of the hottest places on earth. But you know, we have air conditioning, and sometimes I'll think about that, and just, you know, even no matter what I'm going through, I feel grateful about that, and I feel gratitude right in the morning. And that, you know, anything you do right in the morning, that will spell out the rest of your day. That will drive the rest of your day. If you're miserable in the morning, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your day. If you're happy, go work out, go do something to wake you up and make you feel good about yourself. You're going to carry that same energy throughout the rest of the day. So, yeah, that's something that's a very beautiful perspective, actually.
You want to read the chat?
There wasn't even nothing going on. Okay. So shout out. Okay. Do you want to read it? You can read it.
So Shotokan Warrior says, a close friend of mine lives in Brazil. His life is an everyday struggle because of low wages and high price items. We are privileged, especially compared to Brazil.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a very close cousin of mine who I'm about to go to his house after this stream ends to watch the UFC fights. Yeah. His family actually had to go back to Brazil, and they came back as soon as they could because they were saying like everything's unfair. Brazil has the highest import tax in the world. Number one in the world. What that means is that everything is so expensive. The prices of things are so, like, let's say, like, you can't even go to the supermarket sometimes. Actually, Amazon got really big in Brazil because people were buying groceries through Amazon in Brazil because the grocery stores were like fucking people over with the prices. Like, let's say you go to like a drugstore and there's like a shampoo. If I can buy, let's say if I can buy shampoo here in $13 American, that same shampoo in Brazil would probably be like $30, $35. It's just insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. And that's a very big point, Shotokan Warrior. That's very true. Like I said, we live in a competitive economy, and we have we have so many privileges living in this country. So,
very similar to Mexico as well. I'm sorry?
Oh, yeah.
No, I was just going to say, it's just amazing how many choices we have. Like, a lot of people complain about, oh, yeah, that we live in a capitalist system, and it's unfair that there's poor people. But poor people have so many ways to, like, essentially, like, maybe not live rich, but they can save money, though, and essentially live decently, though, because there's so many places, like, institutions made for poor people. Like, we have dollar stores. We have places that would sell items very cheap.
I love a Dollar Tree store.
Dollar Tree, yeah. Dollar Tree is awesome.
Yeah, and Yo Mama, there's this person I listen to on YouTube. He's famous. His name's Eric Thomas. He's actually a motivational speaker. His nickname is the Hip Hop Preacher, and he talks about things like this. He talks about how when you're in a situation and you feel like everything's against you, you don't have money, you don't feel like you can make it, really put yourself in perspective. We have smartphones that, it's like what, $40, $50 now you can have for a simple smartphone plan for unlimited data, and that we have the internet. When I was down on my luck, I would literally go to Goodwill and look at I would look at women's jeans on eBay, and those jeans in the Goodwill would be like a certain brand, so people want to buy it on eBay. Those jeans would literally be $5 each, and I did this with my girlfriend. She taught me. You would literally look it up on eBay. You can actually eBay on the app on the phone. You can scan like a pair of jeans or some shoes, and it'll come up with that item and like, oh, someone recently bought it for this price. So it's like, wow, I can buy this $5 jeans, and we resold the jeans for extra money. And there's so many things like that you can do now on the internet with a smartphone. If you have a smartphone, like, you have access to, like, it's almost scary what you have access to if you have a smartphone with internet.
You know what? And that's how I actually started my business, because when my boyfriend and I broke up at the time, the black guy that I told you about, I was a little bit depressed. So I started crafting and I started doing diaper cakes. You're probably not familiar with that just because you're a guy. But I started doing diaper cakes, and I used to sell them on eBay. And I started as crafting, selling my crafts. It was so easy. And then from there, I escalated to becoming a London company. So
sorry, could you explain what that is? Because diaper cakes, that doesn't sound like an appetizing dessert.
No, it's not to eat. It's not edible. So this is mainly for baby showers. So the diaper cake, it's actually made out of diapers that a baby can pee and poop on. So you kind of roll it up and make a shape of a three-tier cake. You know how like the cakes are 3 tiers?
Yeah.
The same thing with this. You put it together, and then you put some ribbons or some blankets, some toys for the baby, and then you give it to the mommy to be. So I used to sell that, and many women, or I don't know, maybe even men, were buying this product, and I made some moolah. So
nice.
Hey,
yeah, I mean,
God bless capitalism. It also, like I said, it got my depression. It helped me with my depression. So if anybody's looking in there, discover your talent. Discover your talent. Make money off of it if you can, and you will be happy for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's always good to have a talent. I think, like, I've read somewhere that you should have 3 types of talents, and one of them, have a talent that you can actually potentially make money from.
Right. that you
Right.
enjoy and can make money off of.
Right. Right. That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely respect your hustle, and that's really cool to hear. I mean, I'm the same way with online and social media marketing and everything. That's awesome. So,
Mhm.
um, just for time reasons, I guess I want to go on to the next little topic
Oh
here.
yeah, go ahead.
That's all good. Um, basically, yeah. So before, when we were talking to each other, we were DMing, and you saw my video, and it said, why I hate Infowars. And then you're kind of like, are you trying to set me up? Like, because, I like Infowars. And I'm like, no, no, no. And I've said this on my streams before, and I always say it to people. If you look at my most popular videos, they have the most egregious titles. Like, they purposely have titles to like want to make you click and be like, what the hell? Why is this guy making a video like this? And that's why I sometimes make titles like that, right? And it's honestly it's reviews. Like, you're trying to play the YouTube algorithm, right? Yeah, I mean, it's that simple, right? So basically, when I was what's kind of your affiliation with Infowars? I mean, before we go further,
I don't know how.
you're just a fan of them?
I mean, can I say anything? Am I allowed to?
Of
Well,
course.
we're funded by George Soros, so you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay, well, if I don't believe in suicide, okay, first of all. So in case somebody suicides me.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So like I said, I voted for Trump, but I didn't know anything much. We've last minute I was gonna vote for Hillary just because I wasn't sure. I was so confused at the time. So when I told my brother-in-law, one of the from the Trump trio, I told him that I was gonna vote for Hillary, and then he just overreacted. He's like, "No, don't do it." And it was so weird because he's a Democrat. Well, was a Democrat, and he was always saying to vote for Hillary. And I was like, no, let's vote for Trump. So anyway, so I told him, hey, I'm gonna vote for Hillary, and he's like, no, don't do it. And I'm like, why not? It was so surprising. And then he's like, I read some of the emails, and so I wasn't sure what he was talking about, but I trusted him, and that's why I also voted for Trump with a hunch. After that, a month later, my sister was the one that's on the picture with me that Jim Acosta took from us. She was the one that started showing me the spirit cooking. I'm not sure how familiar you're with that. Do you guys know what the spirit
Yeah,
cooking is?
I've heard about it. Yeah, the whole weird sacrifices thing. Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about. I know what
They
you're talking
eat
about.
like these cake bodies or something like that. Yeah.
It's just so weird.
Yeah, it's just weird stuff. Yeah.
To pretend that you're eating a human being.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But so since I've always been a little bit spiritual on that side, I like all this scary stuff. I always
Yeah.
right. So even before this, I've been a conspiracy theorist. I guess you can say it for 5 years prior to this. So I guess 7 total.
Okay.
So I was a conspiracy theorist, but I believed that Hollywood was controlling politics. Turns out that it's vice versa. The politics is controlling Hollywood, if you really believe in that.
Yeah.
And then I saw the pictures of Lady Gaga. I saw some of the messages that were being sent in the emails. And then that's how we kind of, like the algorithms, it guided us to Infowars, because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know what Infowars was. So then I saw this crazy guy just yelling the news and
Alex Jones, yeah.
right, going over the top, and I'm like, whoa, this guy's crazy.
Right.
So so I was watching it, and everything that he was saying, I was like, no way. So he was showing the sources. I looked through the sources; they were real. I'm like, okay, I guess they do say this crazy shit, and it was very scary. So so from that, I went to other through the whole Infowars, but so far my favorite is Owen Schroyer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mentioned Owen Schroyer in the video. I don't mean to cut you off, but yeah, and that's awesome. Yeah, with me with Infowars, you know, I mean, I used to kind of be like a conspiracy theorist, but a lot of it has changed now, where it's like we give too much credit, like with. I feel like we give too much credit to the government sometimes because
really badly.
what's up?
Sorry, you're cutting out really badly. Like you're lagging out.
Okay, am I better now?
there's
Do I
no
sound-
problem with it.
Or maybe it's my side. Maybe it's my side. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's on you because when you went to talk, it was like whoa, like weird. But
Okay.
basically, yeah. What I was saying is that you know, I used to be a conspiracy theorist, and I feel like the conspiracy theories now, like I just feel like have gotten too far. You know, when it comes to Infowars, what I
We
was
go deep, yeah.
what I was criticizing Infowars was about the false flag. And it kind of gets annoying when Alex Jones and some of the Infowars people call every shooting a false flag. Like that's their first automatic response. And it's like, you know, it's kind of like Occam's razor, which states that usually the most simplest answer is the right one. And does it make more sense for the government, who, if you're a libertarian, you believe the government is incompetent and is lazy? I mean, look at the VA, look at the DMV, look at any government thing. You know, it's
Right.
shitty. It's shitty.
I mean, they couldn't even cover up the scandal with Nixon and the Watergate. You really think they're gonna be able to cover up these shootings? Fake these shootings? No.
Right. And I feel like that's why, like, you have so many people who maybe are fans of Infowars and they like believe every conspiracy theory. Like they don't trust anything. And that's why I mentioned in my video too, where it's like, you know, every attack isn't going to be a freaking false flag. And and they make themselves look dumb by doing that. And a lot of it, I feel, is just kind of funny. Like, I just was kind of browsing the internet, and do you know what MK Ultra is? I mean, do you believe in MK Ultra?
I know what MK Ultra is. I just I don't know if I believe in it. Could be that it's possible. At this point, you know what? It's better to say that you don't know anything, just so you won't be surprised. Because I don't know.
So I wanted to watch some videos. Like, I just feel like when I watch this stuff, I really can't take it like completely serious. Like, I feel like it's like, I almost feel like people like who enjoy this stuff, they enjoy it because it's like funny and it's like a game almost. So I don't really believe in it. I just think it's like something cool that people like to believe in. You know, my dad was kind of a conspiracy theorist too. Like, he didn't trust anything, and like it's like kind of fun. And I don't know, I just wanted to show you guys these videos because I feel like they're really funny, and it's like, I don't know. I'll explain a little further.
Okay.
So, as you can see, I guess I'll just play it here.
Bro, watch my nigga Jalen Rose, though. Look at my nigga Jalen Rose.
What?
What the hell?
Wait, what was that? I couldn't.
Oh, here we go.
Jalen Rose. Rose, though. Look at my nigga Jalen
Oh, wait,
Rose.
I've seen these videos before.
Tell me that's a fucking robot or some shit. That ain't no fucking human being. Look at this nigga. He didn't move, blink, or nothing. Bro, look at this shit.
Didn't they have something similar with Prince Charles and?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Princess,
Yeah.
So I'll just finish it real quick.
This nigga a robot too, man. They got my nigga. That's my nigga. He from my city. No, they got him too.
Oh my.
Bro, this shit wicked than the bitch. I just peeped this shit watching the game in the finals.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I saw
At this
that.
point, I don't know if I believe everything that I see on the internet or.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I saw that the first time I saw that clip, I like couldn't stop laughing. Like, I feel like it's like a joke, and
Right.
I kind of went down a rabbit hole where this is something serious. MK Ultra apparently is like it's like a CIA mind control program
Mhm.
that like it controls like the celebrities, and that's why when you see them kind of like spacing out, it's because they're actually being mind controlled and stuff. And I was like, what?
Of course.
Half of me is like, do these people really believe this? Or like there's this other, and then I saw this video. This guy has about 60,000 subscribers. This video has almost 300,000 views. I mean, we'll watch it real quick. So this is what I'm talking about.
I just happened to be watching Inside the NBA last night, and I caught an extremely interesting segment. They had Victor Oladipo, the star guard from the Indiana Pacers, as a guest on their show because Kenny Smith was out. And I caught something right after the little mini segment of what they call EJ's Needle Stat of the Night. And Victor Oladipo was singing, and as they go back, they're going to pan to the panel, which is Shaq, Ernie Johnson, Victor Oladipo, and Charles Barkley. I want you guys to pay very, very close attention to Shaquille O'Neal's face. He's on the left-hand side. I tell you brothers this all the time. A lot of you guys know every player is not preconceived, but what you do have to watch out for is what I tell you, which is monarch athletes, MK Ultra athletes. Meaning what? Super athletes who may have had everything from genetic modification to being put under drug, psychotherapy, electroshock treatment, things of that nature.
No, you're wrong. They're androids, man.
Once again, I want you to pay very close attention to Shaquille O'Neal's face. Please remember that he is a product of the military-industrial complex. He was stationed overseas in Germany at a military base at the behest of his quote-unquote stepfather, Philip Harrison, who was most likely his first handler.
How does he know all this?
I don't know. Like it kind of seems like off the top, just kind of made up. I just kind of want to shoot.
There's a small chance.
Go ahead.
Huh?
You cut out. What'd you say? Oh, I think he dropped from the internet.
Yeah.
That's all good.
I don't know.
Hey, what are you saying? You cut out. What'd you say?
No, that like this guy could be trolling.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is like it kind of seems like a troll. Like it kind of seems like it's funny. And he's gonna show Shaq's face. I just want to finish this video real quick.
Close attention to his face.
He's gonna be on the left-hand side.
EJ's Needle Stat of the Night. Presented by no one. What's that?
Look at Shaq on the left.
Musical stylings of Victor Oladipo, who is the reigning two-time champion.
Look at Shaq's face. Shaq is frozen. He's going through a get out trance right now, and his eyes are not blinking. This is how you know that he's going through what they call an MK Ultra glitch.
So yeah, that's what that's about. So
that's it?
Yeah, I mean that's all I wanted to show. I don't want to watch the whole video, but it's like they'll find clips of these people, of like athletes or celebrities, like gazing, and like there's so many people out there who are kind of just sitting on their computer, like that's why with the false flag thing, with like the Sandy Hook shooters and like everything's a false flag. When a mass shooting is happening, when something like a tragedy like that is happening, so many people are rushing out like super quickly to get the first scoop, to like get to say something on the news, right? And there's going to be a lot of misinformation out there because of that. People don't know if there's 2 shooters, there's 3 shooters. It's very common, and because of that, these people use this as like a smoking gun that that means that there was multiple shooters and there's a hidden conspiracy behind everything. And that's kind of what just ticks me off with the whole InfoWars and with like the conspiracy thing. Like, I don't believe, I used to believe in like the 9/11, stuff, because I saw this documentary and it had me believing. I don't really believe it anymore because I just feel like something like that, it's like these things are so elaborate and so big. So many years passed by, someone would have said something would have happened, especially now in the age of like social media and smartphones, and we have the access to everything. Nothing can stay hidden. And that's kind of just why I made that video, where it's like, I'm just really kind of sick of you guys. You believe in every conspiracy theory. I don't believe in it. and yeah, so that's why
Well, I can't really comment too much on the Sandy Hook, even though I support Infowars. I don't know much about the case, to be honest. I know the basics and what they're questioning, but like I said, I don't know. So it could be just because there's a lot of crap that's missing for Las Vegas shooting, and it's just odd things going on. But other than that, I know nothing, and that's all I can say because I wasn't there. I don't know the real facts, so
right.
I can't really
Yeah. I mean,
comment.
yeah, I'm not here to confront you about it. I mean, it's just yeah. I mean, that's just why I made the video, because that's kind of something that kind of pisses me off, because I do like, I did mention in the video as well about Owen Schroyer, who he does what I enjoy. Like he'll literally be in a suit and tie. He'll have a cameraman. He'll go to like some random people at a protest and start just asking them questions, and they literally just collapse, like they fail. And it's like,
yeah,
it's hilarious. It's like gold. I wish I could.
right.
I haven't made really videos of like going to like a march or a protest and interviewing people. I might do that. I feel like every time it happens, like I forget about it and then I don't go.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Owen Schroyer because he's actually
know.
looking for people to speak. And unlike Alex Jones, Alex could be a little bit intimidating because he goes over the top and like
Right.
and so I think that Owen Schroyer is the best for that job to debate. And it's hilarious. I love watching his videos.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's gold. But yeah, and that's kind of what that's all about. I went on this class. Are y'all right there?
Yeah, sorry, it's just it keeps lagging out for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, man, you need to fix your internet, bro. So,
Yeah, maybe it's George Soros trying to intercept the stream.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That Nazi Jew. Now he's a real Nazi Jew.
So we're kind of heading up here at 11. Well, I guess it's 10 over there in your time. Are you cool for a couple more minutes for some more videos, or
I'm having fun. Let's do it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, anytime, just let me know. Like, hey, I gotta bounce, and I've had some guests do that, so it's no big deal. But yeah, we just got some videos here. I wanted to react with you guys. This one I think was pretty funny, so I want to watch this one here. Speaking of being libertarian, let's look at this.
Genital massages. If the masseur and the client both agree. So I propose this. The city allows for licensed masseurs to give genital massages if the masseur and the client both agree to it. We let someone get naked and have every other part of their body touched and rubbed by a massage therapist. Hell, we let...
This is like the perfect guy to advocate for it.
What is he doing? Is he trolling?
No, I don't know. Like this is just, I find these clips. I don't know if he's trolling. I mean, he's doing it, so he could be trolling. I don't know.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
There. Yes. So if someone wants to yank a guy's crank, I say let him.
Look at the old man in the background. He just bowed his head. Like, look at the old man's reaction. I'm gonna replay it.
Amen.
Look at the old man in the background.
So if someone wants to yank a guy's crank, I say let him. Picture this, a big old sweaty back getting him off with your hand actually be that much worse than giving him a full body massage, getting up in there under the folds of fat, or being the proctologist sticking your finger up his...
Oh, God.
Okay, this guy is either a pervert or a troll, or it could be both.
People imposing their morality on the rest of society. If a grown adult wants a hand job...
You know, I actually agree with him, but this guy is... I don't know, he has issues.
Yeah.
Wait, is he talking about adoption and...
No, he's talking about how masseuses should have the right to like jerk off the clients. Like it should...
happy ending?
Yeah, basically. He's like advocating for it to like be put in law.
Oh, God.
That's the mountain he's standing on. All right, man.
for money, then let them. That's both freedom and capitalism, and that's the foundation of our.
Hey,
If you have a problem with a genital massage, then don't get one, and allow other consenting adults to do what they want. That would truly be a happy ending for everyone.
yay.
Drop the mic. Wow, that was lovely.
I think there's a chance that he's trolling, but I'm not gonna lie. I agree with his point. I think it should be legal as long as they're consenting adults. I don't see an issue.
Mm.
I don't know. I just think like, dude, if there's other ways for you to get your rocks off, like I just feel bad for people like that. It's like you're going out of your way to you know, you're going out of your way to fight for that fight. It's like there's other things to do, man. Like if
Has
that's
he
what,
tried? Has he tried Tinder?
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's plenty of other options out there.
Oh my god, when incels appear in real life, but sorry, was I lagging out again?
No, you're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good. I guess this can be the last video. I thought this was a pretty. Are you into the World Cup at all, Yo Mama?
I've been watching a few games, but not all of them. But let's do it.
Okay, yeah, this will be the final video. I know, obviously, I'm from Brazil, so we had a pretty sad ending. Belgium beat us, and freaking classy liberal. He's not even Mexican. He was rooting for Mexico to beat Brazil, and
Yeah.
I know. That's what you get for beating us.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah. Every dog has its day. So I thought this was pretty hilarious. I really like Colombia's team, by the way. And if you guys don't know the backstory, Colombia and England. No, was it England? Yeah, it was England. Colombia and England were playing, and they got to the penalty shootouts. It was very close. It could have went either way. And this is a clip. People are passionate about soccer, football, as we like to call it everywhere else. And like people get in fights, like people will stab each other over arguments. Things.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Especially in Latin America. I mean, in Latin America, you go to the stadiums, they'll have fucking riot police there because it gets so crazy. So I thought this was a pretty funny video because it's basically like a restaurant or like a bar full of Colombian fans, and then there's like one English fan, and then this is what happens when England wins. Doesn't give a fuck.
Hey, we won, mate.
He's got balls too. Like I would never do this. Like
I would do that.
Just,
bro, I was tempted to like actually like buy myself like what do you call it, a Mexican uniform. Goddamn, I'm so ignorant. And like actually like wear it and like just to troll you on the stream.
Yeah, I don't really get sports. I don't really get like so passionate about that, but like definitely it's like with this whole country thing, it's like pride. So let's finish this real quick.
Jersey.
Where was this taken at?
I'm not sure.
Oh God, no.
Colombia.
What's he going? What's he going? He's stripping?
No, he's like showing some tattoo on his back, and I was just thinking, like, imagine if he's like just showed some fucking Nazi symbol, and just started like hailing Hitler or something. Like, he's showing some tattoos off. So.
Whoa. Somebody shoved him?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, you're looking for like a fist fight or something. Like, you want to piss off a whole bar of drunk Colombians they just lost.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta be
I'm sure
careful
I'm sure he's pretty drunk too. So.
I'm
true.
Who's he kissing?
Was he
Wait.
hugging or kissing?
I think he's like hugging his wife or somebody. No,
No,
that's
it's a dude.
That's a dude.
okay.
Maybe another Brit.
Yeah, it's his. So yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. That's pretty ballsy of him to do that. Like I would never do that. So, but yeah, that's all we have for you guys today. This was a pretty good stream, a very good conversation. Let me see here. Yeah, so if you guys enjoyed the stream here, please make sure to give it a like. Also, if you enjoyed our guest Yo Mama's chest hair, make sure to follow her down below for her on her Twitter. Are you gonna eventually maybe make your own YouTube channel or start doing some live streaming?
I honestly don't know, to be quite honest with you, just because I'm very focused on my business. Since I'm starting it,
Sure.
it's maybe like a full-time thing, even doing it overnight, so I don't have a set schedule. So there's no promises at the moment.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, I mean, you can use your platform if you create like a channel. You can use that to promote your business. I mean, it goes kind of hand in hand.
Sure.
A lot of people do that now when it comes to like crafts. Like I said, I know someone who like they literally started their own business with like wholesale crafts, and I'm the one who gave her the advice to do like live streaming, live Facebook streaming, live Instagram streaming, because that's the future of marketing. Is
Yes.
all on social media and the internet. So
Yeah.
Right. But thank you for joining us tonight. This was a very intelligent and fruitful conversation, like I knew it would be when I reached out to you. I knew this would be, I knew it would live up to the expectations. So if you ever want to come back and join again, you're more than welcome. Or if you want to talk about a certain topic, I know this was kind of your first foray into YouTube and live streaming. So I hope it was a good experience for you.
Yeah, you can always have me as a guest. Like I said, for now, I don't mind being a guest. Maybe in the future I'll do my own channel, but not at the moment.
Sure.
So I'll definitely be a guest, and we can talk about other Mexican stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, any final words, Classy?
Viva Mexico.
Viva Mexico.
Yepa. That's right.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
there's Pepe. All right, guys. Thank you so much. This has been Revenge of the Dreamer. Thank you so much. We will catch you next week. We have already a guest lined up for next week, so please stay tuned at the same time, Saturdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern.
And may I say another thing?
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I wrote. I was a guest writer for the Populist Wire, populistwire.com, and I wrote an article about the wall, if you're interested, of why we need a wall. And this is the perspective from a dreamer, my cousin, and he wants to share his story. So thanks to Populist Wire, we got to give him a platform, and hope you guys get to see it on my Twitter pretty soon. And you guys are more than welcome to share any opinions regarding the article as well.
Yes, guys, please make sure to follow her. She posts some hilarious things on Twitter. I enjoy following her. So, yeah. So, we got to do this again. I really love this stream. So, like I said, guys, make sure to catch us next, same time, Saturday, 9:30, and have a great night.
Night.
Ole.